What up, everybody? You already know, Sly K Loco with another episode of CannaConvos. Now, for today, we got Mr.Growit. Bam, 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 bam. Ohio Grow, what's up, Pimp? What you doing, doggy? What you doing, man? Got Coma Killer Kitchen. What's up, Pimpin'? What's up? What's up? What's up? You guys already know we got Mr. Growit on for today, so it's going to be another great show. You already know how we do over here when we flow Earthwise. What up, Pimp? What up, Pimp? I am going to send this over to Mr. Growit. Somebody calling me? Did I call him on accident? I might have called him. Let's see. What's up? What's up? What's up? You already know. Chilling. We got some stories to talk about today. I really want to talk about that diatomaceous earth in the eye. All right, guys. That one was a crazy thing that happened, y'all. I was like, tripping. It was tripping. It was very trippy. Da, 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 da. Let's see here, Mr. Growit. Send him the invite. What's good? What's good, Macho Man? Let me accept Mr. Growit on here. Now I got that Haley Stanfield song stuck in my head. I like me. Mr. Gaddick, what's up, Pimp? What's up, Pimp? Everybody, make sure to send this out to everybody. Was unable to join. Oh, hell no. Let's get him in here again. Try to hit that invite that I just sent you, Chris. Oh, what's up, Pimp? How you doing?
There he is. What's going on, man?
Nah, man, just chilling, man. Loving life, man. How's your day?
Yeah. Pretty good. So far, so good. Saturday, just kind of relaxing. About to watch UFC tonight, so we got a big fight tonight.
Who's fighting?
We got Volkanovski's fighting championship fight.
Oh,
I don't know if
shit, I don't think
you
I've
watch
been catching up
UFC
with
at
that.
all or not.
Not like that. Not like I haven't been staying up on it unless it's a crazy ass fight. Then I'll hear about it after.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Is that gonna be over there in Vegas?
I seen your hand.
Thanks, man. I got I had the carpal tunnel and a cyst, one of those Bible cysts, growing on like. At first, it was right here in the middle of my hand, and it was a big ass bump. But then I started doing push-ups, and when I started doing push-ups, it moved over here to my thumb. So, yeah, it was painful, man. It was pretty painful, and I went through it for a couple months like that, and I was just like, no, I got to get it done.
I'm sorry to hear that, man. That sucks.
Yeah. Hey, man, it happens, Dougie. And you know why they call it one of the Bible cysts?
Really?
Yeah, you know why that?
No, why?
Because you're supposed to hit it with a Bible. You set your hand like this, and boom, hit it with a Bible, and it smacks it out, I guess.
I didn't hear that. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's some crazy shit, man. So, for those who don't know, this is Mr. Growit, aka Chris. If you don't know who he is, you've been sleeping under a rock. I mean, this guy is like one of the #1 bestseller, or did you make it up to #1 on Amazon?
Made up to #1 for the marijuana cultivation on Amazon. So,
yep. Yeah, #1 bestseller. You guys need to look into him. There's his book right there. I'm almost done with it, and I have learned a lot, actually, as a matter of fact. We'll get into those questions later, but so you have a podcast, you have a Grow channel on YouTube, you have a lot of stuff going on, man.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. Now, luckily, I have my fiance now join the team. So she's actually putting out clips on my Garden Talk Clips channel. I'm not sure if you're subscribed to that or not, but every day there's a new clip, and she's been helping with that, which has been great. There's a lot, man. A lot going from filming main channel videos to the podcast to the From the Stash podcast. So, yeah, it's definitely a lot going on. It's nonstop.
Yeah, and then jump it on like Pigeon's podcast or Rob. Rob doesn't have a podcast, does he?
No, he doesn't.
Okay, but yeah, that's a lot of work, man. At least you're staying busy, right?
Yeah, and you as well. I mean, you've got this every weekend, man. Just pumping it out. So
pumping them out.
Consistency.
It comes so easy with good people, though, man. I'm telling you. Yeah. Fucking have good people on this shit and just bam, just knocking them out. I'm sending this to everybody that I know real quick on here. if you wanted to, also, you should send it to anybody, your followers. I'm pretty sure they're already following you, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they should.
See if I can share. Man, I don't even know how this works, to be honest with you.
There's a little like triangle right there that looks on your settings, and
Oh
you
yeah.
can and it lets you send it out to all your people. When you hit it, it's going to show a bunch of
Oh, there we go.
pictures,
Okay.
and
Send it out to a
then
bunch of people right now.
yeah, there's it's a little confusing too. You gotta once you do it a couple times, then it gets easier to do that while you're talking and everything.
Dude, did you see
So
the?
you're
What do you think of the episode of
what?
Garden Talk that you were in?
Oh man, I loved it, doggy. I really loved it. I felt so. You made me feel very, very welcomed, and like I starstruck a little bit too, man.
I thought it was a great conversation, man. It's like it's already just past 20,000 views on there, so ton of views.
Damn.
I don't know how much traffic you got, but I know some people are going over there to follow you and stuff. And I thought it was a great conversation, man.
I loved
You
it, man.
had a lot of good input.
Yeah, I woke up that day and my followers were just blowing up, and I was like, damn, I got like 100 followers in one day. I was like, what happened? What's going on? Oh, the episode Chris must have came out because I didn't write it down in my in my books and shit. But yeah, that was hella cool day, man. I want to thank you again for that. That was very
No
cool.
problem, man. No, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Shit, man. Yeah, and I would totally be down to do it again. This time I wouldn't be so nervous, and try to get that out. It
You did
seems,
fine.
yeah, it just seems a little bit harder to do recording than freestyling. Like I'm better on the freestyle. I mean,
So we'll do a live stream sometime. Maybe you can hop on my Twitch live stream
there
or
you
something like
go.
that.
I love it. I love it.
That'd be cool.
So my first question, I wanted to get on. A lot of people already know who you are, so I wasn't going to go into the whole introducing and how long you've been growing and stuff like that, because everybody should know by now how long you've been growing, right? So we're just going to jump right into it. And a couple of days ago, I got diatomaceous earth in my eye. Have you ever heard of this?
Yeah, well, I haven't heard it in getting in somebody's eye, but I've heard about using it. Yeah, and I've used it myself. And I saw your story on that, man. You all right?
Yeah, man, I'm good. But I wasn't that night. That night when I woke up, my eye was pure blind, blurry, just real fucking blurry, dude. And I couldn't see anything. And I started stressing out because I was like, oh my God, I'm going blind. And you do this one where you like rub it and then it comes back, right? And you're like,
Yeah.
fine. Well, that wasn't happening. It wasn't coming back. And it was like that for I was tripping out for about 20, 30 minutes before I went to the hospital because I was like, okay, I'm going to the hospital. This is ridiculous. I don't know what it is. I'm starting to stress out. I had just taken an edible too to sleep. So I was kind of like hyperventilating because of the edible on top of it. And it just was a big thing. Went to the hospital. The hospital didn't know what to do. They were like, I don't know. And because I put some eye drops in there before I got to the hospital. And then it started clearing up a little bit. And it started getting better and better. And I was like, oh, shit. Like, thank God it's getting better. But now I don't know what it was, right? So went to the eye doctor. And they were like, I brought up the diatomaceous earth because we put it on our cats to kill the fleas. And
Oh,
so,
really? Wow.
yeah, that's what it was, a home remedy. My wife heard about it. So she started doing it. She just tried it for the first time. And that first time, I totally forgot about the cat having that shit on it. So right before nighttime, I was rubbing up on her and everything. And then I went to sleep and she was laying right here next to me. So that's how I assume it got in my eye. But bro, the eye doctor said that is probably most likely the cause because it was just surface dryness. Which that's what it does. It dries out the bugs and has the shards that get in between there and it kills bugs and shit. Well, he said that also happens to our skin cells and anything that it touches. So like it's a real good that shit really works.
Yeah.
So anybody
A
out
lot of people.
there, be careful.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, my cat over here. He just likes to scratch at things. What I was gonna say is, a lot of people wear gloves when they're using it, right? So a lot of people use it particularly for the fungus gnats, like you mentioned. They'll sprinkle a layer on the top part of the medium and kind of work into the medium a little bit. But a lot of people will wear gloves. I know some people go against it, and they're just like, I don't need gloves. I'm good to go, But even if that's the stuff, it can easily go airborne too. So mask, a lot of people wear masks. I guess eyeglasses, people should wear protective eyeglasses as well.
Yeah.
According to, the incident you had, I know I'm probably gonna wear eyeglasses from now on, but yeah, that stuff easily goes airborne, and a lot of people do wear gloves when they're using it.
Yeah, that's what the doctor said too. He said that with it being so fine that it just goes everywhere. It's a very
Yep.
fine powder. So be very careful when you're using that stuff, guys. I had not heard of anybody of this happening to anybody because I'm pretty sure this doesn't happen on the regular. And I just figured that it's one thing that we need to spread the word about, and people need to, know to be careful. If that ever does happen, just get some eye drops in your eye and keep your eye moist, and you'll be fine. Okay?
Good to know.
Good
Good to know.
to know, man. Yeah, oof, God, man, I was tripping there. I
I'm
like
glad
to
you're
say,
better.
I like to say that one puckered up my butthole pretty good, because I was like, oh shit, I'm scared. So for
That's
those who
funny.
don't know, Chris, you have bred your own strand, right? The OG or Chill Out
Yep.
OG. That was your strand, and I wanted to go into that. What is the cross with that?
Brisker OG is the male, and then a Pakistan Valley female. So I hunted through a Brisker OG, which is a THC Titan, Square One Genetics. Big shout out to him. Um, Pheno hunted through the males, found a real nice male that I liked. Real dense clusters of pollen. There was a little bit of color change that happened in there. Looked like there was quite a bit of frost on the male that I selected versus the other ones. So for a variety of reasons, also the smell, like the stem rub. I know some people are against this whole stem rub technique, and we won't get into that. But
Yeah,
yeah, I picked out this beautiful, beautiful male. Excellent structure as well. It wasn't so much like a lot of side branching, which you don't,
yeah,
males, you figure there's mostly one dominant branch and there's very little side branching. Anyways, found a beautiful male. The female, Pakistan Valley, real short, dense structure, short, stout, very leafy, tight internodes. So being able to, defoliate in there, get a good lollipop going. But great, great buds, loaded with trichomes, and found a good female, and then just did the cross, had F1s, and then just hunted through those. F2, hunted through those. F3. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I've been I wouldn't really, I don't call myself a breeder, although I did a cross. So some people are going to be like, yeah, you're a breeder. You've done a cross before. Okay. But I wouldn't say I'm a full time breeder. How about that? Right. So,
yeah,
like, this is just one project I've done since 2019. So it's like I'm not continually working a whole bunch of different things, although I am looking to expand my knowledge. I do have some really, really good phenos of some other cultivars that I've been just kind of keeping around and like, man, I think I want to do something with this. So I
okay,
think I am ready for kind of the next step to find something else, to create something else. So, but yeah, so
nice.
far that Chilote OG, I'm at F3, and I've got some questions. Am I going to fem them out? Probably. Am I going to go down to F4s? Probably. I just don't know when.
So after F4, does it come S1, or at what point does S1 S's come into this?
So that's selfing. So again, I'm no expert when it comes. I'm not the person to really talk about breeding,
Don't
to be
even
honest with you. But like
trip. Any
self
information would work.
self pollination really is what it comes down to. So that's
Oh,
kind of where
okay,
S1 comes from my understanding. So
okay. Well, I mean, your strain has like went out there, so you are a breeder, bro. I mean, you've you've done it, and you've got a strain out there that people are starting to grow and shit. So you consider yourself a breeder. I would not a full time like you said, but you are a breeder.
yeah, and
So
I got to give
because I
a
haven't
big
done
shout
that.
out, if I
Yeah,
may, to give a shout out to Zaza Genetics. I think he's in the
I
chat right now. I seen him
thought I saw
recently.
Zata in there.
Zaza's the man. I mean, to be able to come to him and just ask him some questions, pick his brain. He's been doing breeding for a very, very long time. Before plants, it was dogs, and
Oh,
being able to just hit him up randomly and get some feedback has been super helpful. So, got to give a shout out to him.
there he is, right there. He said legacy strain. Nice. Hell yeah, brother. I personally have not gotten your OG, your chill out OG yet. Yet I said. for those who don't know, Chris does have a website where you can get these genetics. I wanted to go on there. I haven't checked it yet. Also, that was going to be one of my questions on the selling of seeds. Didn't they change the law because the seed is technically like 0.1 THC, right?
It's under the 0.3 THC or whatever the law is.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the Farm Bill back in 2018. Now I don't know really the depth of the law on that one, but yeah, from my understanding, seeds are good to go, and the DEA actually came out. What was it, last year or the year before? They came out and they had said, yeah, the seeds, selling of seeds is not illegal. It's under
Yeah.
that 0.3%.
Yeah.
So
Because I mean, technically, if we're going to be using the law, you have to use the law the way where you can find the loopholes and all that shit. And that's one of the loopholes. There isn't no THC in this plant until it gets, biggity big and shit. So like, the seeds should be fair game, and we should be able to spread seeds around. And plus, on top of it, you really can't tell if it's a cannabis seed or not. There's no way of telling until you grow it out, or you test it, send it out to the labs, whoop de whoop.
yeah, the only thing
But
is we got to worry about is like I'm pretty sure the laws prevent international. And we had a question in the chat where it's like, do you ship to Canada? No, I mean the international. I don't think we can do. So the import export laws or whatever. Like I just shy away from that. So USA only is what I'm pretty sure we're well safe doing.
yeah, I remember there was a couple of, I think last year, or the year before, where they were like China or somebody was sending over random seeds to people, and they were just growing them in their gardens. Did you hear about
Mm.
that? Yeah, it was like some invasive species that they had sent over through the mail to some random people, and random people were just like, "Hey, what's this? I'll put it in my garden. I'll start growing it." And it turned out it was an invasive species, so everybody was like, "Don't grow that. Don't grow it if you get it." Like if you get this letter out of nowhere,
Oh, you
which
know what? I think I did hear about that. Yeah,
okay,
yeah, that was a big deal, wasn't it?
it was a big deal. Yeah, and that's why I was like weirded out, because why are you gonna grow some seeds that you didn't order? Like,
Right.
what are
Just
you doing?
got
But
shipped to them randomly and they had no idea who was from or anything, and they only wanted the
yeah,
seeds and they're like, okay, I'm gonna plant these.
yeah, no, I wouldn't have done that. But people are out there. I'm pretty sure they were like, "Oh, look, I bet you this is some weed. I'm gonna grow it."
But I think it was
So
coming from China, and I don't know how well their cannabis industry is, but I'm pretty sure
yeah,
they're very,
right.
very strict out there,
I'm pretty sure their cannabis industry is non-existent over there. Yeah, if you get any fucking bud from China, don't fucking smoke it. Don't grow it. I would not. Yeah, I would not do that. So how's the stash blend going? You guys selling enough? Are you making enough marketing? How's that all
Yeah,
going?
it's going pretty good. I got one of them here, just a 4 ounce sample, but this is Stash Blend. This is a additive, so you do this on top of your base nutrients. For those that don't know, it's a 215, so it does have some nutrition in it.
Okay.
Mostly backed by the corn seep liquor, seaweed extract. It's also got silica in there. It's got some humic acid, beneficial bacteria, mycorrhizal fungi. So you can eliminate some bottles. Like if you've got multiple bottles, if you've got your beneficial bacteria, your mycorrhizal fungi, your silica, humic acid, right? All those all in one. So yeah, it's doing very well right now. This is something that was formulated with me, Rob from Canvas Lifestyle TV, Pigeons 420, George Murray. Got to give a shout. He's the formulation chemist. He's the one who actually, he's the brains of the operation, right? We just kind of assisted with the whole thing, and we did testing for a solid year, before we were like, okay, we can start to talk about it. We can start to look to release it, and so on and so forth. And it was released last July, and it has been doing so good so far. It actually sold out for a short period of time. We were out of
Oh,
stock
really?
for a short period of time, but we were able to re-up. But yeah, the demand was pretty high. I don't know how it's been this past month, but it's been pretty steady, slowly kind of going up as it becomes more and more popular. And if anybody has purchased it and wouldn't mind leaving a review on growershouse.com or amazon.com, because it's on Amazon as well, that helps out tremendously. So, but yeah, lots and lots of success with it. I use it every single week. Just a 1 teaspoon a half teaspoon per gallon of
Yeah.
water. Mix it in the water, and then do a solo drench. So
And
yeah, it's good stuff.
for those that don't no, don't put it in your brew when you're brewing it. It just works better if you just mix it in the water and feed it to your plants like that. Because I thought that. I thought, oh, I could add it to my brew, it'd make it even better. But you were like, no, it's better just to add it to some water, and then we could just go with that. Yeah.
Yeah, and
For
that the reason why is because there's one thing that George Murray had actually advised. It has some of the things is good, right? The microbes are gonna duplicate, right? The beneficial bacteria, but the mycorrhizal fungi, you're not really doing much with that. Some of the things aren't soluble, so like it's better suited to just mix it in water and then do the soil drench. Same thing with the people using it as a foliar. Yeah, you can,
oh,
but like the mycorrhizal fungi, like you're not really getting that benefit using it as a foliar, from my understanding. So, soil drench is really the best application.
so yeah, it would be the best application because on top of it, like you're using all the nutrients. Everything in there is getting used if you just drench the water, if you just soil drench it, instead of using all that other stuff because you don't want to lose that product. Like you guys have took a long time to put all those things in there together so that they work together the way it's intended to be. So let's make sure that we try to keep that up. And I wanted to say, all the people out there, it's easy to leave a review, guys. Get on there, leave a review. It helps big time. Like it really does help a little big time because, people see the reviews and they want to order it more. They're like, oh, okay, there's a lot of reviews on there, so then they'll order it. Blue on here said that it was out on Amazon. It was out of sale or out of stock on Amazon the last time that she checked.
Yeah, it's going in and out of stock. It's tough to keep up with demand a little bit. So, and I know the production company or the manufacturing company had moved or something like that, so that was an issue. But
Oh,
we should be pretty good now. Oh, excuse me. If it's out on Amazon, it should be restocked within a couple of days at least. I don't handle the inventory side of things. That's all Growers House. We're partnered with growershouse.com on this. They handle all the fulfillment, so everything's coming from them,
okay.
which is great. They do a great job, and they have very good customer service. So couldn't be any happier with that partnership.
Nice. Dan House Houston was asking, can you use it in DWC?
So it's advised against it, but people have been. Shout out to Cam Z. He's actually, I think he's in your chat quite a bit. He's in almost everybody's chat. He's using Stash Blend and DWC at a quarter dose, so a much
Okay.
smaller dose, and his plants were looking great.
Okay.
So there are some things in there that are water soluble, but not everything is, right? So like some of the silica, right? You need that reaction to happen with the silica in order for it to turn into orthosilicic acid, and then it'll be able to be uptaken. So, yeah, it's people are doing it and they're getting away with it, but it's not advised by the formulation chemist, I guess you should say.
So it's not advised, but it can be done.
Yep.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
All
Yeah,
right.
the same thing with sprinkling on the roots. Some people wonder, oh, hey, mycorrhizal fungi is in it. Can I just, during transplant, can I sprinkle it onto the roots? He had kind of advised, like, hey, there might be something in it that could potentially dry out the roots.
Okay.
So he kind of advised against that. I tested it. It's fine. Other people have tested it. It's been fine. So as far as sprinkling on the roots, you should be good to go. As long as you're not, like, soaking the roots with it or whatever. A light sprinkle, everything should be good to go.
Making the roots brown with the same color as the fucking
Coating
stuff.
it,
Yeah.
dipping it in.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. Don't go overboard. Just,
Rolling it in.
just a nice little sprinkle and you'll be fine. But that's nice, though, because when you do come out with these products, you don't know how they're going to get used until they're out in the field. Once they're out in the field, that's when somebody's going to think of another use for it that you're like, oh, shit, I didn't think of that, while you're making that product. And so we get to see real life if it works or not, or if it's, I wouldn't say that it give anything pathogens, but there's things that could go wrong.
Of course, yeah, you could be like too much nutrition in there, right? So it'd be like burning plants, for example,
Yeah.
right? So, and you can overuse it, right? So if you're going against the directions, for example, if you're using your base nutrients and your base nutrients are already hot, adding in an additive with more NPK in it, it's not going to do, it could potentially do harm. So yeah, you can definitely misuse it.
Nice. So on the NPK ratio, now I just learned this. I was reading your book and it explained it more. That's the nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus,
nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium.
There you go, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, right? And is that the N is for the nitrogen,
Yep.
the P is for the phosphorus, and the K is for potassium, right? And that's
Yep.
on the periodic table?
Yep.
Okay. And now the numbers on there, what do the numbers mean? Are they like a percentage, like when it says 5%, or is it just how
Oh,
does that work?
like 215.
Yeah.
Man, and that's where it gets tricky. That's where it's a little bit like the phosphorus, for example. You need to uh, convert it. There's a conversion process for the phosphorus, so it kind of gets messy.
Okay.
Think of it as like a weight, though, right? So like 215, for example, is going to be about 2%, 1%, 5%, roughly,
Yeah.
right? So you're going to get more potassium. The higher the number, the more you're going to get in the mix. But there is a conversion for the potassium, no, for the phosphorus.
Okay.
Actually, it's one thing I learned at Utah State University. It's one of those things where like I heard it and I'm like, okay, interesting information, but like as a home grower, I don't really need to convert that number for anything. You know what I mean? So like, but yeah,
So it's more for the industrial side for the conversion?
apparently, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. 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 All right. Hell yeah, man. Yeah, I always wondered about that. That was like, what do these fucking numbers mean? Like, why not just put a little percentage sign by it? That way you know it's for percent. You know,
Yeah.
shit. But okay. Hell yeah. Yeah, I learned that, and I was gonna start adding worms to my soil that I have cooking out in the garage. And I was thinking about the red worms. I was reading in there. There's earthworms, red worms, and then like something in the
Well,
medium, right
there's
in the middle.
well the red worms are probably talking about the red
Red
wigglers. Red
wigglers.
wigglers.
There we go.
Those are mostly known for like composting, for example. So I
Okay.
have some in my vermicompost bin, but they can certainly be used in your grow pot or your bed. There's also European night crawlers,
There you
which are
go.
pretty more known for like to be hang on like the middle of the soil, right, the middle of the grow pot. And then you've got African night crawlers, which are kind of the low ball. They're at the bottom of the grow pot for the most part. Now, of course, any of these worms are going to sneak out of your grow pot if they don't like the
Yeah.
environment, right?
Yeah.
When I first put some worms into my vermicompost bin, it didn't like it. They were crawling up the sides and they were getting out of the bin and drying up and stuff like that. So they can do it as well as in your just regular bed, whether it be you're in a bed or a container. Um,
Was that
yeah,
were
but
they
those are the
getting
three common ones. Which,
nice? Were they following? Were they getting out because the pH was off, or was it too hot, or do you know why they were trying to run out
uh,
of there?
I can just guess why they were in there. It was probably just I don't know, maybe too hot a little bit. Maybe I had too much compost in there. I'm talking about my vermicompost
Yeah.
bin. Maybe I just had too much greens in there or something like that, and maybe it was too moist. Or yeah, it's impossible for me to really say why the reason why that they were jumping out of there. And
Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah.
you
There
just
could be a lot of
shove them
reasons.
back in there and they get used to the environment. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
like, it's not like all of them are jumping ship and stuff, but and sometimes what they'll do is, and I tried using this, was a copper tape. So you take copper tape and put it around the bin on the inside of the bin. So that way, when they're trying to crawl out the bin, supposedly it's supposed to, not do. I don't know if it's doing harm to the worm, but it's supposed to deter them from that. Some people actually do put that copper tape around the stalk of their stem, so then they don't have things crawling up there.
Huh.
But I found that it doesn't really deter it. Maybe the tape that I got wasn't good, but yeah, copper is an interesting thing with worms.
Nice. That's weird. I wonder why copper would deter them. Is it the smell or just the texture of it?
I
Probably.
forget. I forget what it is. I have to look it up. Yeah,
Huh. So I was
I
thinking right
remember.
now, if I added all three of those worms to my soil bin, and like what I'm worried about is if I put all the worms into my bin and I mix it up, right, with my shovel little thing, and if I cut them in half or I kill them or whatever, they'll be fine in the soil, right?
I mean, what are you digging down into your media, or what are you
Well,
doing?
sometimes I break up the medium a little bit, and like when I have to go in there to fill up another pot, I have to break up that medium just a little bit, and
Mm.
so I'm just worried about killing them. But they're worms; they'll be fine if you chop them up in like a little bit, right?
I mean, they'll duplicate and stuff over time, right? So like 90
Yeah.
days or whatever, like if they're making contact with each other, they're multiplying, and yeah, it just takes a little while. But um, are you letting the top of your medium like dry out a little bit, or is that
No,
what?
no. Well,
Are you
it's
using your hands? Are you really using like a rake or something,
a
or
rake, a
what?
little rake,
Little
handheld
rake.
rake thing, just to
It's
mix it up.
I don't think you're gonna do massive disruptions to your population just from
Okay.
doing that. Yeah, if you're just top dressing in and raking things in and with a handle, one of those little hand rakes, you're gonna be fine. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Put your mulch layer back over it, and then
Oh,
it's
yeah,
gonna
yeah. I
be
know. You're thinking I'm talking about in the soil of the pot. I meant the
yeah.
soil that
Oh,
I
sorry.
have out in the back
Oh,
cooking. That's why,
sorry.
yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
that kind of soil. That's the one that I rake up, and I'll break up a little bit and shit.
yeah. Okay, yeah, I misunderstood. My bad. Yeah, I mean you got to turn the pile, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it'll be fine. I'm gonna try that later. Yeah. So let's go on to our next thing. Oh yeah, I wanted to ask you. So you were in the corporate industry before you moved into the cannabis industry, right?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what you mean by corporate.
Well, I meant like Amazon or something like that. The big
That's
corporations.
that's what I work. I work for Amazon.
Oh,
Yeah,
really? Okay.
yeah.
So that's what it was. I couldn't remember which one it was. I was like, I know he worked for a big corporation. I just can't remember. So yeah, what was that like making the transition from that industry into our industry, which is I'd assume way more open, like freeing, like you could do basically whatever you want. As to oppose of like with the corporate industry, if anything got out with you smoking weed or whatever, it'd be bad for their business. You know what I mean?
No, you're absolutely right. It's a whole different industry, right? And I mean, I started out at Amazon back in 2007, picking and packing, right? Picking, packing, shipping. Worked my way up to assistant manager, then manager in the fulfillment center, so area manager. And then I actually transferred over to their corporate side, which is kind of like I think they call it Amazon Open Box now. It used to be called Amazon Warehouse Deals, where basically when people return items, will evaluate they would evaluate the items and then have a markdown price and resell it on a different site called Warehouse Deals. I think it's
Yeah.
called Open Box now. I'm pretty sure. But I worked in that area. I would travel the world to a couple different countries in all over the U.S., different facilities to help launch this process in the facilities. And it was stressful. I mean, particularly my time as an area manager. It was very, very stressful. I mean, I worked from Nashua, New Hampshire. There was a facility. Then I went to Allentown, Pennsylvania, to a 1.5 million square foot facility. It took 5 minutes to walk from one side to the other. And then I went over to Las Vegas. They had a returns facility. And then they have a couple other facilities out here, which are much larger now. Um, but yeah, man, it's completely different. Very stressful. I was working 12 plus hours a day, 6, 7 days a week. That was like the norm for me.
So they
So going
basically had
from
you
that,
on they had you on call, like you were always on,
yeah,
right?
I was always working. Yeah, when I would go home and open up my laptop and continue working, and then I'd go to eat some food, shove down some food, and go to sleep. And then when I was working at Amazon, particularly during peak season and stuff, where you really you don't eat really. It's really sad to see. I lost so much weight, man. I was down to like 150. I'm 6'2". I was down to 150 at one point. Now
Jesus.
I'm up to 190. So back but I was unhealthy. You know what I mean? Because they just they work you, and you're expected to not take a break in a sense. When the associates go take a break, you still need to do numbers. You've got planning you need to do. And then when lunch comes, I mean, you can try to go shove something down, but you're not really going to be spending much time. Unfortunately, it was very strict. I think they must have gotten better by now. I left there in 2015.
Okay.
So I hope they got better when it comes to how they treat their managers. But back then it was pretty bad. But yeah, now on my own, video production, filming, editing, and doing that
And
grind.
you're doing what
Writing as well, just
you're
content
doing what you
creation in
want to
general.
do. Yeah, you're doing what you want to do, which is good, man. Because when you're in that rat race and you're just going forever and ever, and they expect you to work until you're dead, man. Till you get 50 fucking years old, and then you get 5 years to do what you want to do, and fuck that. You know what I mean? Like,
It's crazy,
like
man. It's crazy.
ain't gonna fucking do that shit. If you have the ambition to be able to start something else and do what you want to do, I fucking totally agree. And I think that you should, or I totally encourage that. I think we are not meant to live in a box or be working for a corporation until we die, dude, until we're dry.
Yeah,
We're just not meant for this shit, man.
yeah,
And I hope that they got to change it because, the happier people are, the happier your work environment goes, just so many other things. If you have one person at work that has a smile always on their face, it makes things better, right? And if everybody's all stressed out, just ready to fucking quit, they just think, oh, we can get another one, we can get another one, right? And it's like,
Revolving door. They call
yeah,
the place a revolving door.
just get another person in, right? And I really do not like that. I think that we need, as humans, we have to be able to have fun. We have to be able to go do something that we want to do, not just have to do because of a paycheck.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, but I will say that, as much as stressful it was for me and unhealthy and blah, 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 dude, I learned so much and I am much stronger of a person. It's kind of the equivalent, like I was under so much stress. One time, I'll tell you a quick story. One time, um, we worked at this building where it was basically 1.5 million square feet, right? Shape of a rectangle. Each side of the building is the pick mods, and then everything flows into the middle for packing and shipping, right?
Okay.
I was in control of diverting the work from the dock doors up into the pick mods, right? So there's totes, and the items were in totes. And so this system was new. I was diverting totes to different areas. Now, floor 3, floor 2, go over to the other side of the building. So I diverted too many totes to the other side of the building, clogged everything up, shut the building, like put the whole building to a standstill. I thought I was getting canned, dude.
Oh,
I'm surprised I did not get
no.
fired from that. But I completely shut down operations for a little while. They were so
Oh,
pissed. They were so pissed.
dude, you're
And I
probably
think that was actually
tripping.
Call of Duty release date too. So I was like, man, people aren't getting their Call of Duties on.
You stop people from playing their video games, man. That's it. You're done.
But the
If
amount of
they
stress,
If they could have
man.
been, if all those gamers could have known that you're the one that stopped their game from going, they,
Um,
they would have been killed. They would have been like, but
but the
that's
amount
a
of
good
stress,
thing.
man, definitely helped. It's the equivalent of like, I don't know, man. If you've ever been broke before and not know how you're gonna get
Yeah,
money and really had that bare bone bottom, I've been there. Sounds like you've been there. Actually, talking to your story you revealed on the Garden Talk podcast, I know you had a pretty big low.
yeah,
It's kind of like that, to where like you've experienced it, now you never want to experience it again. So like you do things so you don't get down low again.
yes,
Same thing with
yeah,
this, to where I've experienced that stress. I don't want that anymore. I'm going to do everything I can to not experience that
yeah,
ever again.
yeah. But that's good though. Like you said, man, it's some stuff that has to be done. You have to go through that stuff to know that you are never going to go back there again, right? Because
Yep.
if you don't know, you're what do they say? If you forget, you're destined to repeat it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and right now, you're not going to go back to that world, but it did, give you the skills and stuff that you needed, right? Because of that corporate world and the management and everything, you were very good at being able to talk to people, to communicate with these people, and like do what you take those skills and take it and move it to this what you're doing right now, right? Because like you sound very professional, and the professionality helps people want to listen because they could tell, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. Well, at least he sounds like he knows what he's talking about. So you be like, that guy right there, I'm gonna follow him. And sometimes that's all you need.
No, I know what you mean, man. And part of it I think relates to like the instructional videos and trying to relay information on how things are done, and just there's an easy way to explain things, and of course there's difficult, right? It's
Yeah,
being able to. One thing I learned at Amazon was like in the training department, when you're bringing on new pickers, new packers, what they have is what's called a PMV. It's kind of like an SOP sheet, but with pictures. So an
yeah.
SOP, standard operating practice, right? A
Oh,
sheet, picture sheet, and then there's all different images on there with the steps of the process.
yeah,
So what they tell you is, hey, when you're creating these, you need to be able to create it so you can hand this piece of paper to somebody who just walked off the street, and they're able to do the process without you having any sort of giving them any sort of training. If you can get to
yeah,
that point, then you've created a piece of content there that they're able to learn from. So like I think that's kind of helped me, just kind of, I don't want to say dumb things down, but like, yeah, being able to explain it and be short and straight to the point. I think that kind of translates my content a little bit. At least it did, back in the day. I think it still does now.
it does. That book, the book. I didn't read your first book. I read your second one though, and your second one, it comes off real like somebody can just pick it up off the street, pick up this book and start growing weed. You know what I mean? And doing organic, which is hard because organics is not what people usually start out with. People usually start out with the synthetics because it's easier, you know, and like the way that you explain it on the organic book, it's way better, dude. You really did a good job. I was getting into it, and I'm not done with it yet, but getting almost to the end. And I forgot where I was going with that. Shit, I
Yeah, I'm
smoked that
glad. Well,
joint,
I'm
got me a
glad.
little stoned.
I must say, I'm glad you've enjoyed it
Oh,
because you know when I hear that stuff, the amount of time I spent on this freaking book, man, I spent a long time on this book, and there's been stops and goes because of family personal issues. I had to stop at. My fiance was pregnant, now she's got a kid, so like I really pushed myself to get it done right before she was born, basically, or right as she was being born, my
yeah,
daughter. And this was back in October of just last year. It was released, January 1st
yeah.
was this book was released. Um, but there was, yeah, I spent a long time on this book, lots of research, lots and lots of research. And
I
I
could
think it's
tell.
worth it in the end. I think it's worth it in the end because it's something I've really wanted to do. And everybody's been wanting a follow up, from that first book. Everybody's been wanting the organic side of things because that first book doesn't talk about organics at all. It's
Really,
bottled nutrients growing in soil or cocoa. Yeah.
really. So it's a synthetic book.
Just
Well,
talking about the bottled nutrients in
the
there.
bottle
Yeah.
nutrient. Yeah.
Yep. And how you feed that way. So.
Dean, what's up, man? This guy just joined right now, and he gave me a tattoo. So shout out to Dean. Shout out to everybody. Thank you so much for tapping in, guys. You already know what to do. Make sure to follow Mr.Growit and support him. You already know. So I wanted to go into the blue mat system.
Yeah.
Are you still using the blue mat system? Okay.
Yeah. Tell me you started it. Tell me.
I have not. I have not
Oh man,
started
come
it. So
on,
these
dude.
are
We talked about this.
No, I'm sorry, dude. This is why I want to ask these questions. So I have you on here so now I can ask these questions that I wanted to ask. How high do you need to keep the reservoir?
uh, there's some, I don't want to say controversy, but there's some varying opinions on
Okay.
this. Um, I haven't asked Blue Mat, but generally what I've heard is that as long as it's above the grow pot level,
Okay.
right? So there's going to be enough gravity to get down in there. Now, if you're using multiple pots, I'm sure there's going to be some sort of calculation. I just have mine on, I think it's just on a regular table, so like 36 inches, I think. And then it flows down into my grow tent, and then it feeds all
So
my
that's about
pots
3
right
feet,
there.
right?
3
3 feet.
feet, yep.
That's what I was reading. I read somewhere that it needed to be 3 feet high. So now I was like, okay, now I need to make a platform for my grow room to where I could put the reservoir up 3 feet high. And then I wanted to ask you, do you have that whole system? Do you have it run into 2 tents or just 1 tent?
I just have mine running to 1 tent.
1 tent.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just have, I mean, I have a 5 gallon bucket on one that goes to my 2x4. And then I have a 14-gallon reservoir that goes to my 4x4 with
Okay.
all my other plants. So I just
Okay.
ended up buying a 5 gallon bucket, drilling a hole in the side, putting the adapter in there, and just having that flexibility to have two different reservoirs on opposite sides of my room, you know what I mean? Instead of connecting everything,
Okay. Okay, so what I was thinking of doing was getting a big reservoir, a 10-gallon reservoir, building a platform to be able to hold the weights, putting it in this corner because I don't have that much room. So I was going to put it in the corner, and I was going to run the lines from one 4x4 tent to the other 4x4 tent. And that's why I wanted to, because I'm figure the higher that you got it, the more pressure that would be able to go to the last plant on the line. Now, this is where I'm getting confused because I don't know if that would work. But I
One
think,
line?
yeah, is it one line or should I do more lines for that? How should I? I don't
Um,
know.
that's a good question. I mean, I would think you would split it out into multiple lines. That way you kind of have, because if I don't know how many plants you can actually connect it. I'm sure there's calculations on size of reservoir, height of reservoir to the number of plants you can do. I know
Okay.
there's a certain number of distribution drippers per plant, so you can only do 5. I'd really talk to Sustainable Village for those granularly detailed ones, but I would assume that you would drill out on 2 different spots on that reservoir and have 2 different lines going from the reservoir. 5 plants or however many plants you have in one tent, and then the other plants in the other. That's probably the way I would do it. But
Okay.
Sustainable Village, they're really, really good with as far as answering customers' questions
Okay.
on how to use their stuff. So their Instagram, I actually met the social media manager from Sustainable Village. She's
What is
awesome. And
it? Sustain. How do you? Or what was that one more
Sustainable
time?
Village, I have to look up their Instagram.
Sustainable Village. Okay. So I can shoot them a message.
Yeah. Yeah, they're really good when it comes, no, particularly on the Instagram. I'm trying to find their Instagram here, and
Sustainable
I
Village.
don't
All
want
right. I will be shooting them some questions on that. For those who don't know, the blue mat system is a system of carrots, and these carrots are actually an ancient technology, right? Or they're an old technology, very old. So it's proven and it's been working. But they're little clay carrots that you connect it underwater, and you put the carrot into your plant, and you keep the reservoir a little bit higher, and it sucks the water down and it waters the plant. So that way that you can go, you can leave, and it's more automated but not so relying on pumps and stuff like that, so you don't have to plug it in. It's more
gravity fed.
uh gravity fed, saves power, saves energy, which is always good. And they don't plug up, right?
I mean, as long as you're not putting solution liquid in there, that's gonna gunk them up, right? So your normal bottled nutrient should be fine. If you're growing organics, I'd put plain water in there, right? And then it would
Okay.
just drip down
Okay.
the plain water, and then top dressing, obviously.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, then that's what I should do. I'm
It
so
makes it so
sorry for
much
not getting
easier.
it done, brother. I feel like I let you down, dog.
No, no, it's funny. I know how it is, man. Life is so busy, dude. Ever since I had a daughter, I have no time for anything.
I know, man.
Anything.
I've been going fucking 100 miles an hour. I decided I wanted to pick up automotive technology, so I was going to sign up for school, and then I was trying to do school and the grow room and work, and I just had too many balls in the air, man.
Yep.
And too many balls in the air just leads to other stuff getting neglected. And you got your plans that you wanted to go do, but you got too many fucking things going on, so you don't get it done. But I guarantee you I'll do it one of these days.
Yeah, set your timer for like 30 minutes. That's all you really need for the first time setting up, as
Yeah, I
long
should
as
just
you've already got your reservoir created, drilled and stuff, and you just need
yeah.
to run the line. You soak the carrots first. Have you soak the carrots 15 minutes with the top off, and then basically you run your line, and then I run my line and cut all the spots where I need to and connect all of the line. And there's just basically, I don't even know what it's called. It's plug and play at that point. After you run the line, it's literally taking the carrot out, screwing it back in actually while it's still underwater,
Still underwater.
then plugging it into the medium, connecting it to your main line there, and then going through and then for each pot, and then just calibrating it, working your way one to the other, and you basically do two notches back. Undo it until there's like one bead of water on the very end, and so once it's paused where there's a bead of water on the end, then you dial it two notches back, two triangles back, and then from there it's solid, it's locked in. And once you do it, once you're so familiar with it, you've done it over and over again, you don't even need to look at the triangles. You literally can feel exactly where it is, where it's dialed in. So, I mean, I'd be more than happy to walk you through it sometime, man. If you're like in the middle of the process or whatever, just
Yeah.
hit me up, and then we can get you going on that.
Cool. We'll be
But I
ready
think
for that call.
you'll love it, dude. I think you'll like it a lot. I can send you their instructional video. It makes it super easy to understand, man. It's like a 2-minute video. So
It has a QR code on it too, right? That has that video.
I think so, yeah. There's like a 2-minute video which kind of just breaks down the
Yeah,
steps
I'll
real
scan
quick.
that shit and I'll get on it. I have to do it, man. I need to stop fucking around. Even though I do like, now that's the other part of that is where when you set up an automatic system, it does you get that sense of, how do you say, where you think you could just leave it, forget it and shit, but you don't want to forget it in your plans because you want to be in there every day to just check and see and make sure that there's something not going wrong. You know what I mean? Because in one day you can get spider mites, and the spider mites will wrap around your fucking buds, dude, and it's crazy. Did you see my last video on those spider mites?
I didn't.
Oh
No.
my god, brother! I opened up the tent and I looked at the buds, and I was like, "Huh, like that bud looks little different. And I looked and I zoomed in on it, and sure enough, they started wrapping the bud like they do, and all the little fuckers walking around on it. It was, dude, I never thought that I would get it that bad, because it wasn't like that the day before. It was fucking trippy, bro. But some guy sent me a message and was like, "Well, now you're a real grower since you've got spider mites." I was like, "Oh, okay, thanks for that." Shit.
Now you get the experience,
right?
So you're good to go.
I was like, "Well, shit, man. Hey, there's always a silver lining in everything, man." So now, hey, now I know what to do with spider mites.
But no, those blue mats will make things a lot easier for you. I mean, you're probably hand watering now,
yes.
right? So, are you fully organic? Or are you still synthetic?
Still, I'm still synthetic.
Okay. So if you were to, man, instead of like mixing up your nutrients and then hand watering everything, literally you're just mixing up a reservoir. So it's like it makes things a lot easier.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do it, man. I'm gonna try it, and it'd be easier if, just top dressed and let it water. When with the because I'm still using the Gaia Green Organics, still doing that. I had noticed when I put in the stash blend, my pH went up a little bit, so I had to use a little bit of pH down to get that back down to about a 6.2. It went up to about 6.8 almost. And I was like, oh shit, because I didn't think about it. I put the stash blend in and I pH'd my water before I added the stash blend. And then I was like, oh, okay. And I just fed it to my plants. And that's when they started getting a pH problem, which I thought was calcium or magnesium deficiency, you know what I mean? But it turned out to be a pH problem, because once I fixed that stopped progressing. So I was like, oh shit, that was pretty cool. So how was the trip with the boys? This last trip that you guys had?
Oh man, it was great. We're here. They came in early February, so this month we filmed some episodes. We just kind of hung out, and man, it was a blast. It's always good seeing those kids.
Yeah, man.
And one of the downsides though is it actually ended up pretty bad. I ended up going to the hospital.
Oh no! What happened?
I didn't tell the story yet to anybody except for those boys. But I had some back issues, man. It's like out of nowhere. I literally woke up at midnight with just this back issue. And
really?
then every turn, I went on my side, and then I was on my back, and then I was on my stomach, and it was a pain the entire time. And then I woke up at 7 a.m. I was broken sleep, and then woke up at 7 a.m. I was in excruciating pain.
Oh no!
To the point where I had to go to the hospital. So I went to the hospital, and then they gave me muscle relaxers, and they prescribed me a pain patch.
Yeah.
And so when it's kind of a long story, but it's a good one, I guess. So apparently on some things that you get a prescription for, you have to get a PA, which is like a prior authorization from the insurance company before they could fill it. So like I never got that patch filled, right? I had the muscle relaxers. It had an adverse effect to the muscle relaxers. Everything was tense in my muscle.
No.
So like the next day after coming home from the hospital was even worse than that initial time, right? So I was like immobile almost, like stuck on my bed. Every single movement I made was painful. So the muscle relaxers didn't work.
Was it a sharp pain or
pills. Yeah, sharp shooting pain no matter what way I went. And they initially thought it was my kidneys.
Okay.
At least I thought I was as well, because it was like in the middle of the back to the right. And they say that's usually kidneys, usually kidney stones. They did a CT scan, fine. Blood test, urinalysis test, fine. TMI probably, but anyways, I ended up going back to the hospital. So I thought something was more serious. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so my fiance ended up calling 911, and so I ended up going to the hospital. And the fire department, they get there first, and then the ambulance comes, and they saw me walking like as I was, the pinched nerve. They're like, that's got to be a pinched nerve. I've had the same thing. Blah blah blah. It's just a sharp shooting pain whenever you walk, and so on and so forth. So they gave me some pain medication. They gave me different muscle relaxers and pain pills, and everything has been well since then. Now it's kind of weird because I took the muscle relaxer and the pain pills for like 2 days. I only take it as needed,
Yeah.
right? And I've been fine. And a week later, I woke up with that pain again, took a pain pill, muscle relaxer, woke up in the morning, fine. Been fine ever since. So it's like, what the hell's going on here? You know what I mean? It's like so weird out
Right?
of nowhere. I have an appointment with a physical therapist next Friday, so hopefully I'll be able to get some like stretches or something. And
It sounds like me that you might be getting old, brother. That you're sleeping in new beds.
oh man,
You're
don't
sleeping
rub it
in
in.
new beds, right? Because you weren't in somebody else's bed, or were you in a
No,
new bed?
I was in my regular bed.
Oh, in your regular bed. What the fuck? Yeah, that doesn't make sense then. Shit.
It's got to be
Um,
just a pinched nerve or something, and hopefully it's just a pinched nerve, and that it's just stretches that I need to do, and that everything should be
yeah,
all good from there. So
yeah.
I'm
I
thankful
had
that
that.
like I don't have to take pain pills every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, don't you don't want that
I'm
fucking shit, man.
thankful that
You
I was
don't.
able to get off them. You know?
Yeah. I had this something similar. I for when I came out of the coma, my back was all messed up, I think, from not moving for so many weeks. And it's been like that ever since, but before it was way worse. I had that pinching nerve, that pinched nerve. I couldn't move, couldn't take a step without getting that shooting pain. It was just horrible. I hated it. I had to go get 4 cortisone shots. I got on separate situations, but I got one cortisone shot in the back and it fixed it and it stopped. It like calmed that nerve down, and I was able to walk, exercise, and everything. And I went back again and again and again, but I went back too many times. Now I got a bulge in my back, but um, it fixed that. It helps. If they do tell you that you need cortisone shots, don't be scared about it. It's a quick procedure. In, out, you'll feel better. I
Mm.
highly recommend it if they
Good
do
to
say that.
know. Good to know, man.
Hell yeah. What was it like when your book hit #1 bestseller, man? Did you party?
Oh man, yeah, yeah. I definitely well celebrated a little bit. You know, I'm old, so I don't really party anymore. But no, hitting #1 bestseller in the marijuana cultivation category on Amazon is holy shit. You know what I mean? Like I'm passing Jorge
Congratulations, sir.
Cervantes and Ed Rosenthal and all these big name guys. Now the way their bestseller list works is it refreshes every 4 hours. Right?
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like so I'm in and out of that bet #1. I don't know what I have to look at it now to see where I'm at. I'm probably at 5 or 6 last time I checked,
Hey,
but being able to hit #1 for even a
dude.
short period of time,
Yeah.
that's incredible.
There's not hey, you know, not many people could say that. So shit, you hit #1. That's it. Hey, like fucking the Fast and Furious. It doesn't matter if you win by a fucking inch or a mile. Win's a win. Shit.
Yeah, right now I'm
But
looking at it. My oh, it looks like my audiobook, 7 Steps to Grow Cannabis, is #7, and I've got the 7 Steps book at 10, and then the organic book at 12 right now. So
all right,
yeah, not too
dropping a
bad.
little bit, but hey, you got #1. That's all that matters. So we only got about 3 minutes left here. We're gonna wrap this up. I want to say thank you so much for coming on, brother. The time went by so quick. Probably gonna have to have you on again another time.
Continue the conversation. By that time, you're going to be using the blue mask, man.
Yeah, fucking hey, I'm gonna get on that now. I'm highly motivated to get it done, so I will have it done. Everybody, you guys keep watching so you can see the process, so you could decide if you want to go down the blue mat system way. Seems like a really cool system. I learned it from Chris here, so that's how we're gonna get the word out, and we're gonna do some more, man. I wanted to thank you so much, Chris, for coming on today. You killed it, brother. Thank you so much for doing
Thanks for
this.
having me.
Is there anybody that you wanted to plug, any sponsors or anything like that?
Uh, I mean, shout out to AC Infinity. They're doing their thing, top quality. They're my primary sponsor, really, at this point. And then shout out to Stash Blend. Got to shout out those two
Stash
things. So,
Plans. Shout out to the the From the Stash podcast. Make sure to go check that out. Make sure to go check out the Garden Talk podcast, his garden channel, because he also has a separate channel where he shows all the
yep.
plants and everything. Make sure to go check that out. Go check out Pigeons, Robs, all them. Go check out my YouTube. I'm starting to now. I went on there and I was trying to get all these videos onto the YouTube, and it just was not working with me. But I figured it out later. And so one of these days I'll get on there and I'll do that. So everybody be ready to see these episodes. If you've been on an episode of CannaConvos, be ready for it to be on YouTube. I will try to shoot out a message, or I'll just make a broad message to everybody to let you guys know that that is done. So yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Thanks again,
Yeah, thanks
Mr.
for having me,
Growit.
man. This
Yeah,
was cool.
anytime, brother. You killed it, and fucking everybody, make sure to come check in next week. Next week we got R Keys, the Talk Box Master, on there, and he will. We'll be talking about San Diego, his new hit, San Diego, and all that. So yeah, thanks guys for tapping in, everybody. We will see you next time.
Peace, everyone.